But today, we dive into this TvZ, and we're going to start in the top right corner of the map with the blue Zerg player. This is, of course, Lambo. Taking on the red Terran player to the top left-hand side from Team Liquid, it's none other than Clem. Took down Showtime in his round of 8 to get here. Lambo must have just taken out a laser just then to move through into this semi-final matchup. It's always a nice day when we get to catch both semi-finals in this Open Cup back-to-back, of course. That's never a guarantee, but yeah, for us today, it kind of worked out, which is awesome. Top left-hand side, Clem is going to set up and show us what he's got in the TvZ. As not as invincible in this matchup as he perhaps once was. At one point in time, if you thought about Clem losing this matchup, you're like, good joke, right? Like, that's funny. You guys make me laugh, but yeah, nowadays that really is much more of a possibility. That is much more of a factor. He has been losing games in this matchup, so yeah, as crazy as that may seem. It's Clem top left, as again Lambo top right, and we wait to see what Lambo brings out. Lambo's been strong in this matchup as well as of late, I'd say. Don't think that's too crazy a statement. I'm my favorite observer, Indy. I was going to watch SCV coming across the map here. Zahachi goes down on the natural. That's going to be seeing a couple Queens and Lings. All coming up again, pretty standard so far. It is Reaper into Marine. And Clem's already starting to mine out the minerals over here. I assume he's going to look to build his base over there, right? His third base. And maybe not quite in position, but you can build it on top of that location and just mine it out and move it over. Usually you don't mine it out yet because you wait for the CC to finish. And you just do a couple trips of SCVs returning to that nearby CC from those minerals to even it out a little bit. It's the usual plan. Reaper going to fight these Lings, gets one of them. Nice little start as the Lings go back and forth. It's going to be having our Reaper unsuccessful in finding too much here. One single Ling kill is always nice, but obviously it's far from being game ending or game changing. It's Reaper playing some dangerous games right there, taking a little bit of damage. Doesn't go down. Obviously, it's really good to keep this alive. Very important to keep that up for some threats, some information gathering. It's just nice to have. There's that CC building, like I said. I'd say kind of surprised the SCV long distance mined out a whole patch, because again, usually it's just more efficient to mine them a couple of patches very quickly while the CC morphs into an orbital or so, and then just fly it over, you know? Reaper just going to back away. Alien popping out and just going to be seeing our SCV production continuing through. I mean, honestly, pretty comfortable opening from Clem here. And pretty peaceful as well, right? Just a few Hellions. Doesn't look like we're going to see any sort of real disruption because it's a second racks quickly. So from Clem, this is more so like, oh, I want to set up into like extra barracks, extra bio straight away. I'm not bothered about getting to a starport to harass you with. You know, he's avoiding a lot of these things which could be much trickier for Lambo to deal with overall, and in favor of just, like I said, a bit more of a comfortable game all said and done. Just gonna, again, get into that bio quickly, and that's something where Clem can obviously pop off as well. I mean, Clem's bio play is absolutely terrifying, especially if he starts dropping you early, and, you know, he's all over the place. I mean, obviously you can do that with the early starport as well, and the Liberator, kind of join up with the Hellions and hitting two mineral lines at the same time. There's also a scary part of Clem's play. But, yeah, I mean, obviously the 2 racks, any sort of fast stim is going to give him that bio play early as well. And he's actually looking for a Queen here, which is not a bad idea. That Queen's separated from the others, and I actually think that dies. It's a really nice grab from Clem. I mean, anytime you're picking off something like a Queen, it's a pretty big pick-off, right? It's expensive. It does not come cheap. It's actually a pretty big deal to grab that, and it just slows down some of the creep spreading. Some of that energy that Lambo would usually expect to have available is now just not going to be there at all, so yeah, definitely a pretty crucial factor. Caitlyn Nest and the Lair are about to finish up over here, so getting those structures online, as we do have a couple of additional coins that's coming into play. Combat Shields is starting up on the side of Clem as well, so obviously he's got the stim initially for the moment. And now he's on his way to that Combat Shield, so all of this just coming online as mentioned, and again, nothing really too crazy about all that. It's just kind of that bio play. He's going to drop into this base, though. There's no vision for Lambo really here. Okay, that Overlord, I guess, just about spots it. It feels like Lambo is very lucky to see this, and he's able to just react just about in time. I felt like that was going to be a little bit worse than it was, actually. So we've seen our Hellions coming through, and quite a lot of these drones getting roasted. That's the problem with Clem, right? He's so good, and oh my goodness, those Lings are in a horrible spot. These Hellions are getting masses of kills. This one on the back has 10 kills already. All the Lings are dying. Oh my god, Marines have killed a couple Queens over here as well, and well, we said Clem can be absolutely deadly, right? That was one of those moments. Those Hellions find the perfect positioning on that mineral line. Just zoning out all the... I mean, don't zone the Lings out, the Lings just die. That's a lot of damage taken. Resources lost already double here for Lambo over Clem. That is not ideal. That's not brilliant. That's actually kind of painful, so... Probably not ideal right now. Just gonna see our Marines coming through. Gonna get rid of some of this creep spread. Probably gonna go hunting that Overlord as well. Take that down straight away. Another loss for Lambo. He has no OVs on the way and currently supply blocked, so... Again, just really running into trouble. Lambo is not having a hot start in the game right now at all. He's about to get to Mutas, which can maybe stop some of this pressure a bit, but it also invites pressure because they're not great at straight-up fights, so it's very possible that Clem can just find a way to keep on being aggressive in that scenario, right? Now, this is, interesting. 1-1 will finish. Melee upgrade still coming through on the side of Lambo, so Clem has the upgrade lead as well. The first sign of life on the Mutas on the top side. And as they come in, Clem's prepared. I mean, he has a turret, he's got Marines unloading from a medevac, and overall this seems pretty safe from Clem, right? I mean, just gonna be there straight away, dealing with this. Yeah, definitely a strong start here for Clem. I mean, there's not really much else to say, and I'm not sure what Lambo really does from here in particular. I mean, obviously it's possible to get back into a game like this, right? It's never say never. He really needs some good fights. That's going to be hard to come by when you're playing the way that Lambo's been playing, I feel like, because he's got mutas. He needs to kind of overwhelm a couple times, I think. You know, if he can catch Clem kind of being a little bit too greedy, a little bit too overconfident out on the map, etc., I think that is really something which can, you know, get Lambo back in. And one thing Lambo does have, in fairness, is actually pretty good creep spread. Like, I'm actually kind of impressed by the creep. I thought the creep would be, quite frankly, way worse here for Lambo, but it's actually pretty nice. So the creep spread is going to keep Clem back a little bit, and that might just be all Lambo needs for, you know, a little bit more time to recover in this game, get set up again. Very possible that's a factor here, as these Marines again come through to zone out. Mutalisks and Mutas on the bottom side now getting caught as well, so the Marines coming back in over there. Really all over the place with those Mutas, as Clem is actually again his +2 attack upgrade as well, so I mean there's definitely ways. There's definitely ways back into this right now for a Lambo. You can kind of see it kind of set up. That Widowmine shot is not the worst it could have been, but it's pretty nasty still. Just going to scan it through. Obviously, a lot of this creep spread still going down. Lings are going to come up and fight against a lot of these Marines as well. Tanks on the high ground. These Banes get turned around instantly. No hope at all in that regard. Just going to be seeing Clem pulling back to that tank and the Widowmines. And everything's still settling down together for the moment as we do have a bush down the bottom side. Lambo is very quick to take expansions in this game as well, right? So he's actually setting up straight away into that gold. Clem gets you to try and deny it, but this group of units should, in theory, just go down. I don't think you can really save this. I don't think you can really save this at all right now. It's just going to get through for a little bit more creep spread. Let's do a little bit better there. Yeah, it's nice to kind of clean up these areas. Honestly, I fell off the early game. Clem was going to have a way better time than he did, but yeah, Lambo's definitely fought in it. He's stayed in it. He's done everything possible to keep himself active here, and yeah, I mean, credit to him, because again, this was not an easy situation to be in, and like I said, done a pretty good job of just keeping himself alive and kicking, so let's see if he can take this through to a game win. Like I said, Clem missing that +2 attack upgrade. He'll be kicking himself a little bit in that regard, right? That's not something you want to be missing. He'll know that that's a sizable mistake he shouldn't be making in these sort of games. As we are going to see this planter, I think, is going to get busted down. It's going to come at the cost of Lambo's bottom base, though. I mean, that gold, I think, just gets swarmed. There's a kind of few drones on this base as well. We blow them up with the Widow Mines, and that gold, I do believe, is absolutely going to die. But Lambo's not stopping. He's in the natural, and this natural expansion is going to get blown the hell up. 34 SCVs killed, and all of a sudden Lambo is kind of in the driver's seat, no? I mean, there's a lot of SCVs dead. He needs to stop this attack, though. 25 Banes. Morphine would suggest that is a possibility, at least, but ooh, this is actually kind of wild right now. A little bit wilder than I was expecting, even. Okay, I mean, with all those SCVs going down, all of a sudden Clem is in a way worse position than he once held. So, yeah, getting kind of crazy over here for the moment. He's pulling back. Widow Mine's going to go off on the Lings and the Mutas. Picking away at those. It's going to be seen our Mutas continuing through the Ling Bane coming across as well. Bio4 still pushing forward, trying to chase the rest of this Ling Bane out of here. Clem's advantage is definitely somewhat in the army supply. He still holds 60 SCVs, he still has a 4th base, so it's not like he's in an unwinnable position with the army that he has. Massive Mutas coming across the map. Clem's preparation against this, I guess, is going to be minimal, right? He's going to lose this entire natural. You know, at this stage, I suppose, though, I mean, Clem just sort of says, right, cool, if you... Ooh, those Banes connect. If you're over there with the Mutas, then let's just trade, because that's a lot of army supply for Lambo that is not on the right side of the map to defend. Clem just wants to take, again, one big fight in his favor. Can he find it? As the Thor here is going to get a few shots off, but will not get the kill on too many Mutas. Just a couple going down. Clem's supply definitely dropping here, but mostly still in work because his army's still competitive. Obviously, his reinforcements are kind of getting shut down as they spawn. He's going to get another base in the bottom right corner. This Thor is a little bit stuck. Was obviously being microed around a couple times there. We saw it derping out. Clem's going to split into this corner. I mean, there's only so much space for him to run in, though, and Lambo's just going to have way too much, I think. Clem's going to have to evacuate here. The Mutas are still across the map, basically forcing the checkmate situation. What do you do about this? I mean, you can't get reinforcements out. This is why it's almost always a good idea to retreat home and defend the Zerg run by rather than base trading. Zerg in a base trade are usually very good if they have some amount of units at home, because they can just slow down the base trade so much in their favor. And you can't just shut off the Zerg production usually. You know, not like the Zerg can shut off the Terran production, so the Zerg can just hold a little while, get their production going. Yeah, this is obviously the result of not going home from Clem. And what a turnaround for Lambo. I will say it one more time. I know I've harped on about it, but that first opening attack from Clem did so much damage. I mean, realistically, to get back in the game from there was always going to be tough. This hold on the ramp was pretty disgusting, actually. Very efficient for Clem, but it just doesn't matter because Lambo has way too much. And this is going to be game 1 to Lambo here in this ESL Open Cup Europe semi-final. He absolutely has just way too much stuff all over the map. Lings, Mutas, all sorts swarming around. Medivacs continuing to drop. Mutas are here, there, and everywhere. Lings continuing in. Factory going down. 3-3 going down. GG, says Clem, and Lambo takes game 1 of this best of 3 series. We have got ourselves in the top right-hand side our red Terran player. It is down a map. Team Liquid's Clem. In the bottom left, our blue Zerg player from the Shopify Rebellion is Lambo. You know, I asked at one point, I was like, well, or I think I said, I was like, it's very hard for Lambo to get back in this game, and I'm not really sure how he does it, because he didn't really have too much going in his favor. But then, you know, looking back, right, you know, let's criticize myself a little bit here. I kind of stand by what I said, but there was mistakes that started coming through from Clem. I do feel like missing the +2 attacks a little bit costly. The creep spread was very good for Lambo, and I think that's one thing we picked up on a little bit later. It's like, oh, well, you know, his creep spread's still good. It's still difficult for Clem to get to those other bases, right? I think that was very true as well. It was kind of difficult for Clem to get across to those other bases. And that definitely was a big step in the right direction of Lambo staying alive in that game. And he used the Mutalisks really well. He was really good at counterattacking with the Mutas at the right time. And that combined with just picking up a couple good fights and actually being quite aggressive on the expansions, I think was really cool. By taking the gold, he really kind of drew Clem down there and then hit Clem where it hurt elsewhere. And there was this point where it's like, well, it's a base for a base, but then Lambo got in the natural as well. And I think that was the real downfall for Clem, letting Lambo get a little bit too much done in what should have otherwise been somewhat even trades, you know? Again, very cool game. Thought it was very fun to watch. And had a freaking good time with it, so... hell yeah to that. Congrats to Lambo, and a great just comeback victory against Clem of all people is never easy to do in the ZVT. Yo, Relapse 2412 on the 5 gifted subs going out to Pyron SC, Just Me Executor, Diego Toss, Chimples, and Aerobic Throne. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the generosity. Some love in the chat, please, for Relapse 2412. I think that pushes us over 700, which is obviously nice, guys. Obviously, like, this month is going to try and be a bit of a rebuild on the stream. We have a big event going on in the WardiTV Summer Championship. We've got World Team League playoffs. We're going to be streaming a lot, and that's our goal. Stream a lot, give you guys a lot of action, give you guys a lot of games to enjoy. That's my goal, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Maybe we can get back to some higher sub counts again that we've not really been at for a good few months now. So let's see if we can make August our month as we get going here. Reaper is going to come poking at the front hatchery. Will be taking some damage, and the Queen comes over to try and push this Reaper out of here. So it's a little bit of damage being dealt so far. Hatchery still taking some shots as the Queen and the other Ling's coming over. Reaper is still being kept away. Didn't Clem accidentally cancel a +2? I don't know if he cancelled it. I mean, he might have cancelled it and I didn't see it, but I just saw that his +2 armor was on the way and no +2 attack. It's possible that he had 2-2 on the way and then obviously, like, he cancelled the +2 attack, but that feels difficult to do because I can't imagine how you accidentally cancel it. I mean, at least in the way that I think of playing, I would say, because if you select both your engineering base and you press cancel, usually the armor would cancel first, because usually you start attack then armor. So yeah, I don't know how you would just cancel the +2 attack unless you start attack after the armor. And obviously that would be a pretty big misclick to be on the engineering base, press and escape anyway, right? So, I'm not sure. But either way, just not having the +2, right? The +2 attack. It's just one of those things that depowers you a little bit. Like I said, just creating some bits and pieces. Banshee and Cloak on the way in this game. Enough about the last game. I haven't told much about this one because, in fairness, I think it's been fairly chilled out so far. Obviously, pretty standard through Clem. Going into a later 3cc, just getting that Banshee up and stuff as a bit more of a priority this time around. I was just using these Hellions to zone a little bit, try and get some damage done. And otherwise, just going to be seeing these couple Queens coming through and pushing the Hellions back. So, a little bit of back and forth for the moment. Lanes back down to the south side again with the intention of, I mean, if you can get some creep ruling, if you can get to a mineral line, even better. Kind of hard to imagine we'd be able to do too much in terms of getting to a mineral line. He actually catches a Queen again. That was something else Clem had in the last game. He killed a Queen really early on. I thought that was pretty neat, and I did feel like that probably helped him with the then follow-up attack with the Hellions and stuff, right? One less Queen to split off elsewhere and so on. Two Banshees together looking for damage. Wow, that one Banshee went too far forward and it does so again. I mean, he was kind of baiting being in trouble there, right? Like, that was going a little bit too extreme, maybe. Kind of worked out, but yeah, a little costly. It's going to be seen our Hellions and the Reaper coming back through the bottom side then and escaping away once more. 1-1 upgrades, combat shield. Again, Clem just waiting for these upgrades before he can really get on the map and do stuff. This map is, it's large. It's not an easy kind of rally push for the Terran players. And honestly, the creep so far is already getting pretty far out there. It's maybe not super far in front of a 4th base, but it's already getting to the stage where you've got to at least wonder a little bit about how Clem is going to try and deal with that. Kind of intrigued as to what that looks like. The Marine's just going to unload, and Marine Hellion can absolutely try for a bit of pushing forward here. Clear out some creep spread. We are going to grab an Overlord to begin with, at the very least. And a Queen going down. These things making their way across, and, well, no Baneling speed for a few more seconds. I mean, Clem has found a good time to fight, but obviously Lambo's going to just do his absolute utmost to make sure that he doesn't engage until Baneling speed is done. And he did exactly that. He absorbed some damage. He took some hits that he pretty much couldn't avoid given the situation. And he just went from there. Again, pretty well handled as Marines and Hellbats set up on the bottom side. Medivacs load up on the natural, and they're going to start coming down to the south to support as well. Hellbats continuing through. We're going to grab that Queen. It's going to be seen our units still gathering up on the bottom as the rest of the meter's going to go joining up as well over here. And just going to be having a pretty hefty force lining up to defend this. I mean, you kind of need it as the tank is going to put in. Oh, that's such a disgusting spot. This spot's so good because it's so difficult to surround it, right? You've got to go a long way around to get the full surround with Lings. And even then, it's obviously still protected on 2 sides, so it's difficult to get like a proper surround on all of it. Nice push from Clem. He's going to absolutely deserve getting this base, I think, with the positions he's been able to utilize here. That was very well handled, and he is going to get this base with ease. A Mutalisk gets donated as well. There is a counterattack from Lambo. He's not going into this with 0 plan at all. There's a few Marines back here. The tank doing a good amount of damage. The Mutas will realize, oh, maybe we should get the tank. Maybe that's our job. As they will maybe cause the most chaos here. Turrets will be able to protect mineral lines, but there's Marines that are just getting picked off as we go. And those Mutas were move command in there for just a second. I do feel like Lambo was on the right track there, though. Fiddling Bane coming down. Units having to escape away from Clem once again. CC going out to the top. And units again down to the bottom side. Continuing to sit together as that +1 flyer attack is going to be finishing up shortly. It's going to see the rest of our Mutas coming around the left. And the Banshee is going to start nibbling away through a few drones as well. A couple of drones going down pretty much immediately. Again, we are just going to continue after those Banelings. So Banelings taking quite a beating from the Banshee. I mean, it's always nice for the Banshee to get some extra value at this stage of the game, right? So nice just be able to grab that a little and work on it somewhat. Things Muta's going to go work their way through the bottom side and obviously open up some rocks. This little Baneling counterattack will not go anywhere. That stage comes about to hit 2-2. This fight's going to be good for him if he gets 2-2. It's about 10 seconds away. All the Widow Mines are getting crushed before they burrow, sorry. So the Ling Bane getting on top of them. Don't like this continued fight though for Lambo for the fact that 2-2 is now done. As you run out of Banelings, you just cannot fight these Marines on the high ground. He kind of caught Clem a little off guard, but not off guard enough to really benefit from it, I feel like. And this is going to get kind of shut down. Uh-oh, Clem's going to find all the morphing Banelings. He knows the value of just attacking into this. He's going to get every single one. The last one actually did finish morphing, but Lambo was already out of the game. GG's tied up 1-1. We're going to game 3. We are going in the bottom right-hand corner. Is going to be our blue Zerg player to start this one off. The Shopify Rebellion's Lambo. Couldn't quite deal with that position of Clem on that bottom side. That push was deadly. It looked like he had a good plan. The counterattack was doing okay, just not quite enough at the end of it, I suppose. Top left, our red Terran player, Team Liquid's Clem. Here for game number. Winner plays time in the grand finals. You've got to feel like these players feel pretty good against time as well. You know, that feels very winnable. Obviously, here Marine knocked out by time, so don't take time lightly by any stretch of the imagination. But, you know, if you ask me, I think on most days, if you get asked would you rather play time or here Marine, I think most of these guys probably say here Marine. Probably say time. So, yeah, maybe a good shot at a win here today for whoever advances Pull first from Lambo. Interested what he's going to do. This is a map where roach rushing can be pretty popular. So maybe a pull first into some kind of a roach rush could be our way around this to start us off. Definitely some possibilities there. Let's see what the choice is going to be. Let's go patch then the gas. So setting up over with that. I'm just going to be seeing our Rack's coming through. SCV's coming now. Reaper on the way. A couple of Lings are building. All this coming up for the moment as we get up and running. SCV out down to the south. It's going to be seeing our CC building up as well here from Clem. So getting his natural started, and yeah, so far it doesn't seem like Lambo's going to be too aggressive, right? Just a couple Lings and just try and get around the map maybe. I mean, the SCV scout is perfect to tell you it's pull first, and now you see the Lings as well. So yeah, it's a cool little SCV scout. Tells you exactly what you want to see as Clem, and this pull first of Lambo is not really going to pay off. It is interesting because it's not like Clem's someone you usually see being aggressive, right? Clem's not the kind of guy to go and proxy rack, see you. You know, he's very comfortable in his longer TvZs, so that just isn't really something that happens. Reaper is going to come heading down the bottom right-hand side. Rotoron down does start from Lambo, so there is the plan. It's kind of a later one, like it's not super quick off the pool first or anything, but still going to pack a bit of a punch. I mean, this is going to be what, like finished at 315. It's pretty much a straight 7 or 8 roach rush, maybe even 9. Maybe 1 Ravager across the map when you get there, but it's really looking to be just high roach numbers usually when you're going for this kind of a build. Go back down the bottom right side. Just going to be having a look. Queen is there pretty quickly to say, "Nah, Reaper, you get out of here, buddy. You're not allowed in these parts of town. You're banned, you're barred. You're not allowed around here." Yeah, so I mean, we have a few moments of just obviously Clem trying to figure out what this is, and if he goes deep enough, yeah, he's going to see the roaches. Sees the roach roar and sees the roaches. It's so hard for Lambo to pull out of this, right? He's already made the roaches, so Clem is fully aware of what's going on. Massive scout from Clem. Cancels the depot low ground. Will not give Lambo anything to really kill. Obviously, 1 depot on the low ground will go down pretty much guaranteed, but that one was already built. Starport about to have a tech lab, so you can build a Banshee. Widowmine will be able to get a kill most likely, or at least some good damage done. This kind of feels like Lambo is in some trouble. Overlord's coming through, so you can start a drone behind this. He is going to sit for the depot for now. Okay, so how many roaches was this? 10? So 10 roaches. I guess he's got the gas for maybe 1 Ravager if he would like it. And Widowmine gets the kill because of the Marine fire at the same time, so that definitely helps. Roaches will force this CC to lift off, but I do think this is going to be pretty fantastic here so far just for Clem. I mean, yeah, you're not minding off the CC, but the Banshee's about to pop, so you can push these roaches back pretty quickly. Once these roaches get pushed back, I mean, that's kind of it, no? You know, I mean, they actually come forward to fight here a little bit, so very aggressive out of Lambo. Loses the Ravager, maybe just assumes he's going to lose the Ravager anyway, so he's like, whatever. And losing kind of a few roaches as well, though. Roach is getting chased down. And he's going to try and come in and fight here as well. The tank showing up to try and support. And those roaches do indeed chase the hell away. This Banshee continuing to chase too, man. Just on the hunt right now. Marines and tanks back up to the top. As we got ourselves the CC in the back base coming online as well. Another Banshee going to join up over here. It's just going to be a cloak coming through. I mean, I like this, right? You're getting that cloak up. You got 2 Banshees going for 3. I really don't mind the 3 in this kind of a game as well. You push back roaches. It's likely Lambo plays roaches in the later stage of the game as well. So then the roach is actually really useful. The Banshee is really useful in case Lambo roach attacks you later on. That's not going to be the case here. Lambo's getting Link Speed and double Evo Chamber, but I don't mind the 3rd Banshee. Clem's getting aggressive too. It's very possible these Banshees just join up on this side of the map and actually have a good time being aggressive too, right? Like, there's a lot of cool things that can happen here. And, Clem's favor is tank 1 sieges, tank 2 will siege. Banshees do cloak up, and that queen is already taking some hefty damage. This hatchery taking some shots. The overlord going down. First queen dead already. These queens just don't have detection. The spore crawler is necessary, and just wasn't in position straight away. Now we got to back away with the banshees. Now they are sticking around a moment too long, perhaps. And so now they're going to fight again. The spore crawler push further forwards. Vials do not quite finish off the tank as the base goes down. I mean, losing your third hatchery is obviously brutal at this stage of a game already. That is obviously not ideal, to say the very least. I mean, Lambo's going to have that fourth hatch up, which can act as a third base for a little while, so that's kind of nice. That's kind of something. These Banshees hanging out over to the left-hand side. Queens, Ravages continue to move over there. Melee upgrades on the way on the Evo Chambers, just bringing that 1-1 up and online. Do you have the Banshees returning home? Gonna go get some repairs as well. Points to the right-hand side, just going to go nibbling up that hatchery, and obviously just spotting where Lambo is expanding to. At this point, Clem, I mean, he's going to be on his upgrades. He's going to have that Bioforce really fully prepared. He should just be able to power up and really have a good time from here on out, so we'll have a look at that. Marines pressing forward, not really much coming of it. Ling Ravager still holding out on the bottom side. He's running over. Marines do just lift up into the medevacs. Step forward. Marines is going to come through and just going to start fighting here. I mean, the preparation is minimal from Lambo. He has a lot of units at least, and I think that's one thing that Clem is actually not banking on. That amount of units, no Banelands, just like literally a spam of units more than anything else right here. As the Banshees do get another queen. Time for them to leave, though, as Lambo at least pushes this back. He's about to finish his +1 carapace, too. Lambo almost looks this game look kind of alright for himself. Which it really, overall, still shouldn't be. And you look at things right now, and it's still Clem. He's got a equal, a lead in army supply, upgrades a little faster. He's got a fourth base coming online. Of course, Clem already has the in-base third, so very tough for Lambo to deal damage to the in-base third, which takes away some of the comeback potential in terms of counterattacks. Clem lifts up, just out of there, even saving the low HP Hellbat, just making the most out of this right from the start. It's going to be having our units unloading again over to the side. It's going to be having our crossbows going through. Medevacs is dodging away, and well, Clem actually brings the rest of his army forward, and now you're going to start being punished for not having Bane speed. I guess that's a pretty major thing Lambo was still missing throughout all of this. And that's going to become rather expensive here. 11 Bane speed, Marines, tanks pushing up this ramp. Clem just needs to keep getting rid of the Banelings, and at this point I just don't think this army is actually going to be killable. Don't think it's actually going to be killable as the Marines pull back just a little bit further. Yeah, I mean, there's the Bane speed finishing up now. Oh, the Banes connect. The Banes get there. They deliver. I think, obviously, Clem not really expecting the Baneland speed to be done, so his Marines actually stay a bit too far forward, and this push that looked almost deadly and game-ending has been stopped. And Lambo's actually going to take a supply lead. Some of those engagements or some of those trades there were actually really good. And we actually do have something of a game on our hands here. Lambo is not dead yet. He's going to push this back, and Clem just getting dislodged from that position, which I think he fully believed was about to win the game, right? Banes were dying. He wasn't losing anything. But the Bane speed finishes and changes pretty much everything just right then and there. And some Bane still coming through. Marine still just getting shot down. And as Lambo is chased all the way across the map, I think obviously now enough is enough, right? He's only got roaches left. They're going to end up being chased down, so maybe a teeny bit greedy toward the very end. We're going to grab this overseer. I like the feelings peeling away, looking for a run by on the 4th, but that is a planetary. Don't think there should be much potential there. 5th moving over from Clem as well. Lambo has money to spend, but currently supply blocked and waiting on overlords for quite some time. Losing that overseer, just helping to push him over the edge into that supply block, obviously is a little bit painful. Let's see then landing to the top right-hand corner. And the rest of the lanes is going to peel back down the right to the south. At this stage, Lambo's actually going to have a free pathway towards Hive at least. Clem, I think, still is very competitive here. His army, as he gets gathered up once again, is actually getting huge. And Lambo is still playing, I mean, very Ling heavy. He's morphing a ton of Banelings, but that's the only Banelings he's going to have. So it's not like he's on the most ridiculous of Baneling counts, right? Like, it should be somewhat manageable. The fact it's still tanked, maybe not great against the Banes. Obviously, usually mine's better in this scenario. Massive drop on the bottom left from Clem. Lambo was not ready for that. And even if Lambo was doing okay on that fight on the upper side, losing so many drones here is now going to be painful. And yeah, he's running over here to defend this, but I think that's going to be too late. The Banes don't get there. Clem saves these units, and he's kept the push going on the other side. Lambo's actually going to say that that's just going to be too much. That's going to be GG, and that's what's going to give Clem the series and the TvT finals.